30 days of disclosure. Now, we have talked about recently the idea that there is a protocol list of things that are done when we begin to interact with a new civilization, and we have indicated all the different steps, stages, phases of this, and indicated approximately where you are on this list in terms of what phase is coming up next. So right now, what we are about to suggest as an experiment is part of these protocols, part of accelerating the idea of open contact, and as with many of the protocols on the list, it will involve us observing what it is you do with this and noticing how what you choose to do changes the energy, accelerates the energy. So this experiment is not just about what effect it might have on others, but what effect it has within you, including your willingness to participate in it. So let us begin by asking this question. How many of you would prefer to have disclosure of ET information? So not that many then. All right. Are you willing to help bring this about in a more accelerated way? All right. Up to you. This is not something that you are forced to do, not something that you should do, not something that you have to do, but it will be fun and it will be simple. But I will let you know that if you are willing to commit to doing this, it will make a big difference. So, here we go. You may even wish, if you have access to it, to write down what we're about to say. You don't have to. You'll be able to understand it simply later. It can be repeated easily by anyone who has written it down. You can share this. Are you ready? Who is not ready? No, all right. Are you ready now? All right. So, wherever it is that is easiest for you to acquire them, they do not have to be fancy. They can be very, very inexpensive. It doesn't matter. Allow yourself to purchase 90 postcards. 90 postcards. Very simple. 2 sides, place for one of your stamps, place for the address it's going to on one side, place for you to write something on the other side. Very simple. Again, nothing fancy. Anything that can be delivered by your mail service is fine. But 90 postcards. Now, on one side, where the address goes, you're going to write 3 lines. The first line will say, "The President of the United States." The second line will say, "The White House." And the third line will say, "Washington, D.C." No return address is necessary. None whatsoever. Now, flip it over on the other side. You will write also 3 lines. The first line will be UFO disclosure The second line will be, by 2020. And the third line will be, we'll get our vote. So in total, it will say UFO disclosure by 2020 will get our vote. Now, you have coming up 3 months before the end of your year, October, November, December. Put stamps on your postcards, and beginning on October 1st, which will also coincide with other experiments going on by other people regarding disclosure around your planet, stick it in the mail. 1 postcard each day for 30 days in October. Each day, 1 postcard. Mail it off beginning on the 1st. Doesn't matter if the month has more days than 30. Just do it 30 days in a row. Doesn't matter if there is a holiday or anything like that where the mail may not be working. Just put it out there each day for 30 days in October. Then, on the 1st of November, once again, mail out the beginning of the next 30 on the 1st and for 30 days. 1 each day, go and mail it. 1 postcard a day. And on the beginning of December for 30 days. 3 times 30, 90 postcards, 1 each day for 30 days in a row in October, 30 days in a row in November, 30 days in a row in December.
It's really important to take action.
Yes.
Because the action is the language of a physical
Yes, it is.
reality.
But stay within that center when
Yeah,
you take
right.
the action.
Yeah, in the center. So I'd like to ask you again, what's your definition, what's the exact definition of action from your point of view?
Action, physical action.
Yeah.
Physical activity. Literal physical activity.
You said that like doing the meditation is not free action.
It sets up the state. Let me put it to you by a very simple example. You walked up to the microphone.
Yeah.
That's an action. Instead of staying in your seat and thinking about walking up to the microphone, about meditating about walking up to the microphone, you walked up to the microphone. That's an action, a physical action. It's not that complicated.
Okay. So if I organize a group meditation and maybe I will ask the people around me to participate and actually do the meditation, maybe it's going to be more action.
Again, you can begin with that kind of an action, but you must proceed from there once you get yourself into the appropriate state. The meditation is not the end.
Okay.
It's the beginning of an action, and if you get into the proper state, it will actually propel you to then move forward and take actions that are expressions, creative expressions of the energy state that the meditation got you into. So it's an expression, a physical expression of some form of interaction and creativity. Yes?
Okay, yes. So if I'm in that state, the action naturally unfolds, maybe to take the form of an outward expression of some
You will
sort.
feel the urge to take an action, to interact when you are in the proper state. You will want to move. You will want to interact with others. You will want to share something in a physical, creative way.
Okay, I got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it seems that I have to ask about the Serpent Mound.
Yes, Serpent Mound in Ohio.
Yeah, right. Last night you said to the
I said there are codes, if you can decode them, in the Serpent Mound that will point you in the direction of where one of the master crystal skulls is buried.
Yeah, right. So the
Yes, I know. Thank you for confirming that.
You're right. Yeah, I know you know. The skull is, so that skull is a sequoia skull. Sequoia skull.
Yes, sequoia.
Okay. So I thought I didn't think that Ohio could be considered to be a northeastern region of
It's northeast from where you are now.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. I know that too.
And I was kind of trying to decode that code in Serpent Mound.
Yes, well, go ahead. Play with it. See what you get.
Yeah, my
Do
guess.
your research.
Yeah, my guess is that the skull may be in the direction of true north from the
I am not going to give you any more assistance. Go and do your research. Go and play with it.
I did go to Serpent Mound this August.
Then have fun.
Yeah, I did.
All right. See what you get.
You're right. There are many astronomical alignments at Serpent Mound.
Yes.
Like its head is facing the sunset time of summer solstice.
Yes.
Maybe that may be the one clue. And
Maybe.
also, I was very attracted to the fact that one of the stars. I have to ask.
Oh, if you have to ask.
The Draco constellation, about Draco constellation.
Draco, yes.
Yeah, right. And Serpent Mound Serpent Mound imitates
Yes.
the Draco constellation.
There's a connection.
Okay. And one of the stars in Draco constellation used to be North Pole star. Maybe when the Serpent Mound was created. Is that right?
I'm not giving you any more clues.
I'm not asking for clues.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Well,
So, bye-bye.
about this information. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Oh, just that's it?
That's it on the Serpent Mound. Have you got something else?
Yes, of course, yes.
All right, then change the subject.
Okay. Then I'm gonna ask about the dragon again.
Yes.
I want to ask about the archetypal story structures and story of a dragon being slain or killed by a hero. There are many this kind of story all over the world from the ancient times.
Yes.
And so this must symbolize or represent something, maybe some incident that actually took place in ancient times, I guess.
In a sense, it does. It is symbolic of certain things that have happened on your planet historically, yes. But the idea now is to resurrect the dragon, which represents ancient knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah, okay. And I like to pick up one specific story from Greek mythology.
Yes.
About Hercules.
Yes.
And I think you once told me that what Hercules represents is an actual individual who...
Yes, the idea, again, of the offspring of the Anunnaki and humans, what you call the demigods.
Yes, right. That Anunnaki is not the original Anunnaki, but offshoot group of Anunnaki.
Hercules, the demigods, are offspring of Anunnaki and human.
Okay. Okay.
Are you following that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I do follow that.
All right.
Okay. About the story of Hercules.
Yes.
One story is that Hercules was told to steal some of the golden apples in the gardens of
Yes.
in the gardens, and there was a dragon
Yes.
who was guarding that golden apple tree, and the Hercules killed the dragon,
Yes.
and that dragon named Ladon was the image of that dragon was brought up into the sky.
All right. There are always going to be positive and negative images of every symbol. So in the idea of resurrecting the ancient wisdom and knowledge, that's the positive side. The slaying of the dragon is simply going within to allow yourself to overcome and supersede the limitations imposed within your genetic structure so that you may be able to access that ancient wisdom and knowledge again.
Okay, so that golden apples symbolizes that knowledge and
Yes,
wisdom.
because it ties directly into your ancient story of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah, like in the Garden of Eden.
Yes. So it ties directly symbolically into that idea that you were prevented as a species from having a certain amount of knowledge that would make you equal to the gods, the Anunnaki. But now it is time for those markers that were turned off to be turned on again. The dragon being representative to some degree of a higher level version of your DNA. The dragon represents the third strand.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good to hear. And at the end of this story, the image of Dragon Ladon was brought up into the sky and said to have become the Draco constellation.
Yes. Therefore, there are things that are connected to that constellation astronomically that can assist you in discovering certain truths, certain ancient knowledge at this time of opening on your planet.
Okay.
So thank you.
Hercules.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, so that's the end of my question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Who invited me here today?
Yes.
If Daryl Enka is here and speaking for a future self, Bashar, what happened in between?
We're not sure that your question is translating. What exactly are you asking?
How did you become this entity?
You mean, how did the channel become a channel? For us?
Yes.
Well, that story does exist in many forms. The brief version is that many of your years ago, because an agreement was made for the channel to do this with us in this life, we showed him our spacecraft on 2 occasions in 1 week. Because he had those particular close broad daylight sightings, his curiosity to research and explore what that meant became paramount in his vision. Therefore, through the research, through many years, he encountered many different kinds of concepts that you would call metaphysical, and ultimately found his way, synchronistically, to another channel who was teaching a channeling class with an entity. And in going into that class to research the idea of how channeling could be taught, in a meditative state, a memory finally came back and a message was delivered by us that now that he remembered, we had shown him our ship to get him to start learning what he needed to learn, so that by the time it came time to begin the channeling, he would be prepared to do so and wouldn't be confused or scared. Then he took upon himself the willingness to continue and see where it would lead. Thus, 37 of your years ago, he began this and is still doing it today because he understands that the most important thing about this particular process is the accessibility to the information that will help individuals who choose to use it for that purpose. Does that answer your question?
I hope it does. Thank you.
Or are you asking something different?
I will be asking another line of questioning on behalf of myself now.
All right.
As I'm developing business
Yes.
and success and
Oh,
influences...
One moment. There's another piece to this idea. Understand that the way this happens for all of you is that when you do what you love to do, you're in the channeling state, which is a particular brainwave frequency between 40 and 100 cycles per second called gamma. And when you're in that state, you are matching frequencies with other levels of consciousness. And in matching those frequencies, you generate the same thoughts at the same time as the other entity. So the channel is functioning as a translation device by allowing himself to get into an altered state that represents the ability to translate his own thoughts at the same level that my thoughts are happening. So in that sense, he becomes a representation of my thoughts, a representation of my personality, a representation of the information through his own body, because we're operating and in lockstep like tuning forks. That's how channeling works. So, proceed with your own question.
Thank you. As I develop influence and success through business,
Yes.
I'm finding that even though I intend to benefit society and myself, there are unintended consequences
Such as?
that negatively affect other people.
Such as?
Creating a new system or way of doing things
Yes.
that is putting other people out of work.
So what can be done to ameliorate that?
Is it possible to undertake business without, or any other type of political organization without unintentionally negatively affecting others?
Others that choose to be negatively affected is something you can do nothing about. But if you realize that what you're doing may bring about the potential for change that may make it less likely for them to continue to do what they're doing, then a portion of the business to truly be successful must undertake the entire operation of providing, at the very least, information that may help educate others to learn how to do something else.
Excellent. And with regards to acting in a business,
Yes.
when one's reality and interests conflict negatively with another's, or completely opposing interests,
That's usually the result of surface negative fear-based belief systems. And when you get those out of the way and go really into the depth of what each being really needs, you will usually find more coherence, or that their needs can be fulfilled much simpler than you think. Because usually people say, well, I really need this, I really need that, and they don't really. When it comes down to the simple things they truly need, you can usually find a way to satisfy everybody if they're willing to divest themselves of the superficial things they think they need in order to be successful. They will usually discover that it's actually very simple and that some accommodation can be had by all.
So in an event that interests and needs are completely divergent,
Give us an example.
let's say that, let's say you try and help somebody with one thing, and it results in them identifying a piece of their building that is imminently going to kill people if it collapses.
All right.
And they wish to waylay blame onto the person who is discovering this.
So this is what I'm talking about. You are dealing with individuals who are simply unwilling to look and take responsibility at their own belief systems.
And so what decides whose reality prevails?
You both do, for yourselves. But again, you have to also question yourself about exactly why you have involved yourself in something that brought about interaction with someone who may not be willing to see eye to eye. So you have to take responsibility for your part of the experience while allowing them to take responsibility for their part, whether they're willing to do that or not. It's up to you to take responsibility for your part and why you attracted this and what it is you're learning from this experience and whether or not it's something you even need to continue with.
How does one bring that into their reality, such negativity?
You attract it because it exists, and you attract it to learn something from it and decide for yourself whether it's something you want to continue to interact with or not.
And how does one leave that interaction?
You walk away. You let go. You realize you don't really need it anymore. You realize you've learned the lesson from it. Remember that sometimes you will attract very strongly a representation of what you don't prefer to make it clearer what you do prefer. And if it's made clear what you do prefer by contrast from what you don't prefer, then turn around and go and do what you prefer. Don't keep hanging on to what you don't prefer, thinking that you have to remain engaged with it. You have learned the lesson. Walk away.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Remember that by being your true self, it's the most loving thing you can do for someone else, because then they understand who they're actually in a relationship with. And if they actually wish to continue to be in a relationship with you, then that gives them the option to change to be more compatible with you, so that you don't have to change to become more compatible with something you don't.